So much. All right, so we're just a few hours away from history. Former President Trump is expected to be arraigned in a New York courtroom on several counts stemming from an investigation of hush money paid to a former porn actress. Now, for an in-depth legal analysis, we have attorney and legal analyst Lisa Bloom joining us now. First off, Lisa, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, so Trump is expected to make his way to the courthouse any moment now. So take us into the room. Tell us a little bit about the process as he walks into the Manhattan courthouse and turns himself in.
Well, all of the reports are that he's going to be treated just like any other criminal defendant, with one exception, and that is that he will have Secret Service agents with him, as any former president is allowed to do at all times. So he will go into the courtroom. He will be read the charges against him. That's what an arraignment is. It's a judge reading the formal charges. We don't know what they are yet. We know that he was indicted by the grand jury, meaning that a group of ordinary citizens in New York convened and they decided in favor of charges against him. That's what the indictment is. But we don't know yet, because the indictment has been sealed, what exactly the charges are. There are reports that they're going to be felony charges. Felonies carry significant time in prison if a person is convicted of a felony. Or there may be misdemeanor charges, which would be charges, lower level criminal charges, where a defendant serves less than 1 year in prison if convicted.
And Yahoo News just reported that there could potentially be 34 felony counts against Trump. Should he be alarmed by hearing about this number?
Absolutely. 34 counts is a lot. It's one thing to say you're going to be acquitted of one charge or two charges. It's pretty hard to get acquitted of all 34. And if that is a correct report from Yahoo News, 34 counts, I would assume that would be 34 different business records that Trump is going to be accused of faking, falsifying, to cover up the hush money payments to the adult film star Stormy Daniels. So we all have a lot of different business documents in our business. I'm sure the Trump organization is no different, where you have to report payments. And my assumption, again, we don't know, but my assumption is that that would be because in 34 different places, the money was essentially characterized as something else rather than what it really was. And to get a felony charge, it would have to be not only a falsified business record, but to cover up a crime. What would the underlying crime be? It would be the campaign finance violation. The argument is that Trump mischaracterized this money, and really it was a campaign finance violation. It should have been disclosed on campaign documents because the money was paid to help his 2016 campaign. That's the argument.
Yeah, talking a little bit about falsifying business records, if you were defending Trump, what would be your argument to get those charges tossed?
Well, I've seen what his lawyer is saying, and what his lawyer is saying is that the campaign finance violations are federal crimes. This is a New York State case that's being brought by the New York City DA, Alvin Bragg. His attorney is arguing that this should be a federal case, so it's in the wrong court, and therefore it should be thrown out as a result. I've seen his attorney say that under no circumstances is Trump going to plead guilty to anything. He's going to trial, but the attorney expects an early motion to dismiss to get the whole thing thrown out on this jurisdictional argument.
Yeah, also Trump has been very vocal about this. Several days ago, he posted that the judge presiding over the case hates him. This message has been making its way across social media. Do you think this will have any effect on him?
I think it's a really dumb move, and I'm sure his attorneys don't like it. You never want to be attacking the judge in your case. Trump has said this about many, many judges in many cases that he's had over the years. This judge hates me, etc. Judges take their jobs very seriously to be impartial and objective, and he's not scoring any points by attacking the judge.
Oh, also, the alleged crimes, they happened back in 2016. A lot of people don't understand why 7 years later, when Trump's announced that, he potentially wants to run for president, his nomination bid, why are the charges being filed now, so many years later?
Well, the former Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance reviewed all of this and decided not to bring the charges. Then a new district attorney came in New York City, Alvin Bragg. He reviewed everything and decided that charges were appropriate. I always assume when a district attorney brings a case that they have very carefully reviewed all of the facts and the evidence. And here, there are a couple of strong witnesses that we know about for the prosecution. One would be Michael Cohen. That's the attorney and former fixer for Donald Trump. He actually went to prison for the very same campaign finance violations that Trump would be accused of here in the underlying issue. So I think Michael Cohen is going to be a strong witness for the prosecution, although the defense will also have grounds to cross-examine him because he has also been convicted of many financial crimes as well. Stormy Daniels, I think, would be ready, willing, and able to testify against Trump. But the real evidence in this case would be less salacious and more kind of boring, and that would be just the business records themselves. What do those records say exactly about these payments? Do they make false statements? If so, I mean, the evidence is just right there in black and white, and it should not be a difficult case.
All right, well, some great insight from Lisa Bloom. Lisa, thank you so much for your time. Of course, we'll be standing by as Trump makes his way to the Manhattan courthouse. Thank you so much.
Thank you.